What happens when one of Hollywood's biggest stars gets blindsided on live television by questions that cross every line? What happens when a host throws professionalism out the window and goes for the jugular? Tonight, we're diving into the explosive confrontation that had Jennifer Lopez storming off Jimmy Kimmel's set, leaving millions stunned and the entertainment world buzzing. This isn't just another celebrity interview gone wrong. It's a masterclass in how quickly things spiral when respect vanishes. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below, because you won't believe what unfolds. Trust me, you'll want to stick around for every word of this train wreck. The stage was set for a typical Tuesday night taping of Jimmy Kimmel Live in Los Angeles. The audience buzzed with excitement, cameras rolled, and Jennifer Lopez walked out to thunderous applause. She looked radiant in a stunning emerald green dress, her signature smile lighting up the studio as she waved to the crowd. Everything seemed normal as she settled into the guest chair, crossing her legs elegantly and adjusting her hair with that confident grace she's known for. Jimmy Kimmel, grinning widely, waited for the applause to fade before leaning forward with apparent enthusiasm. Jennifer Lopez, everybody, he announced, gesturing toward his guest as the crowd cheered. Thank you so much for being here tonight, J-Lo. You look incredible, as always. Jennifer's smile was warm and genuine. Thank you, Jimmy. It's great to be here. I've been looking forward to this. Well, we've been looking forward to having you, Kimmel replied, shuffling his note cards with practiced ease. There's so much to talk about. Your new projects, your music, your business ventures. But first, I have to ask about something that's been all over the tabloids lately. A subtle shift crossed Jennifer's face. Her smile held, but her eyes tightened slightly, a hint of tension in her posture. Oh, here we go, she said with a light laugh that didn't quite reach her eyes. What are they saying now? Kimmel chuckled, but there was an edge to it. Well, you know how it is, people love to talk. I'm curious about your thoughts on some criticism you've been getting about your recent performances. Some say you're not bringing the same energy you used to. The question landed like a challenge. Jennifer's smile faltered for a split second before she recovered, but the tone was set, and it wasn't the respectful, fun interview promised in pre-show discussions. I'm sorry, what are you referring to? Jennifer asked, her voice pleasant but with a steely undercurrent. I've been getting nothing but positive feedback from my audiences and the people I work with. Kimmel's grin widened, almost predatory. Let's be honest here, you're not 25 anymore. Some are wondering if it's time to adjust expectations, maybe focus more on the business side rather than keeping up with artists half your age. The studio fell into an uneasy silence. The audience sensed the shift, their enthusiasm replaced by tension. Jennifer's hands, once resting casually on the armrest, gripped it tighter. Excuse me, she said, her voice dangerously quiet. Are you seriously questioning my ability to perform because of my age? I'm just asking what's on everyone's mind, Kimmel said, raising his hands in mock defense, still grinning. We've seen the videos online. Some dance moves aren't as sharp, vocals seem strained sometimes. I'm wondering if you've noticed it too. Jennifer's jaw tightened, and for a moment, she seemed to weigh her response carefully, the professional in her battling the human who'd just been insulted on national television. Jimmy, she said, her voice controlled but icy, I've been in this business for over 3 decades. I've sold millions of records, starred in countless films, and built multiple successful businesses. If you think I'm going to sit here and let you disrespect me, you're mistaken. Kimmel didn't back down. If anything, he seemed emboldened. Look, I respect what you've accomplished, I do. But we're adults here. Can't we have an honest conversation about aging in Hollywood? It happens to everyone. The reality of aging. Jennifer's voice rose slightly, leaning forward. The reality is I'm at the top of my game, working harder than people half my age. The reality is you're trying to tear me down, for what? Ratings. Entertainment. The audience was silent, sensing something unprecedented. This wasn't the lighthearted banter they expected, it was personal, serious. Kimmel's next move proved the tipping point. Instead of apologizing or pivoting, He doubled down with a comment that would make global headlines. "I'm just saying, maybe it's time to be realistic about your career," he said, his tone condescending. "How long can you keep pretending you're still Jenny from the block? At some point, doesn't it become a little desperate?" The word, desperate, hit Jennifer like a slap. Her eyes flashed with fury, and the studio braced for what was coming. The facade of celebrity politeness was about to shatter, and Jimmy Kimmel had no idea what he'd unleashed. The silence was deafening. Jennifer Lopez sat still, her eyes locked on Kimmel with an intensity that could burn through steel. When she spoke, her voice was quiet, each word deliberate. "Did you just call me desperate? Did you actually sit there and call me desperate on national television?" Kimmel's grin faltered, but his arrogance kept him from backing off. "If the shoe fits," he said with a shrug meant to be casual but landing as dismissive. "I'm not trying to be mean, I'm being honest. Isn't that what good television is about? Honest conversations." Jennifer's laugh was sharp, humorless. "Honest conversations. You ambush me with disrespectful questions, comment on my age like I'm some has-been, and call me desperate when I defend myself. That's your idea of honest television." "I didn't write the headlines," Kimmel said, gesturing to his scattered note cards. "I'm asking what people are talking about. Isn't it better to address these things head-on than pretend they don't exist?" His patronizing tone was unmistakable, and Jennifer's composure hung by a thread. She uncrossed her legs, leaning forward, her posture shifting to battle-ready. "What people are talking about?" she repeated, her voice rising. "You mean tabloid lies made up to sell magazines? The garbage bitter people spread online because they can't stand a woman succeeding for 30 years. That's what you want an honest conversation about?" Kimmel raised his hands, less confident now, more like he was trying to calm a storm. "Okay, let's take it down a notch. I didn't realize this was such a sensitive topic." "Sensitive?" Jennifer's voice cracked like a whip. "This isn't about being sensitive, Jimmy, it's about respect, basic human decency, something you clearly don't understand." The audience shifted uncomfortably. This wasn't the show they signed up for. Some glanced around nervously, expecting security to step in. Others pulled out phones, knowing they were witnessing history. Kimmel, whether stubborn or oblivious, pushed further. "I get that this is hard to hear, but sometimes the truth hurts. You're Jennifer Lopez, a legend, but even legends face reality. Madonna went through this, Cher went through this, it's just the business. Don't you dare compare me to other women like we're all the same," Jennifer snapped, her professional mask gone. "Don't act like you're doing me a favor by insulting me. To my face. And don't pretend this is about truth when it's about your pathetic need to tear down successful women." Kimmel's face flushed, his smug amusement turning to anger. "Hold on a minute. I've had plenty of successful women on this show, and I've never had problems with them. Maybe the problem isn't me. Maybe you can't handle criticism." The words hung like a lit fuse. Jennifer stared at him, her voice dropping to a deadly calm. "Criticism? You bring me here under the pretense of a normal interview, then question my talent, my relevance, my age, my choices. You call me desperate, suggest I retire, compare me to others like we're interchangeable. And you call that criticism? I'm doing my job," Kimmel said defensively, his confidence waning. "Sometimes that means tough questions. If you can't handle that, maybe you shouldn't do interviews." The audacity shocked even him, but it was too late. Jennifer's eyes widened in disbelief. "If I can't handle it," she whispered, her voice chilling. "Jimmy, I've been handling people like you my entire career, men who think they can diminish, dismiss, disrespect me since I was a teenager in this business. The difference is, most were smart enough to do it behind my back, not to my face on national television." She stood abruptly, her chair scraping the floor, the sound echoing in the silent studio. The move was so decisive that audience members gasped. Kimmel looked up, and for the first time, fear flickered in his eyes. "You know the real problem, Jimmy," Jennifer said, towering over him with the presence of a 3-decade superstar. "You're a small, Insecure man who gets kicks from making powerful women feel small. You hide behind your desk, your jokes, your fake smile, but you're just a bully who can't stand that I've accomplished more than you ever will. Kimmel's mouth opened and closed, no words coming out. The man who'd been so controlling now looked like a scolded child. The worst part, Jennifer continued, her voice gaining strength, is you think you're clever, edgy, provocative. But you're just cruel, small-minded. You think tearing me down builds you up, but you've shown everyone who you really are. The studio was so quiet the cameras' hums seemed loud. Jennifer glanced at the audience, many staring in shock and admiration, then back at Kimmel, who looked like he wanted to vanish. I've been in this business long enough to know when someone's trying to make a name at my expense, she said, her voice ablaze. But I didn't get here by letting men like you walk over me. I got here by standing up, demanding respect, never letting anyone make me feel less than I am. She paused, her words sinking in, her voice now a quiet fury more devastating than any shout. Here's what's going to happen, Jimmy, I'm walking off this stage with my dignity intact. You're going to sit there and think about what kind of person you want to be, because right now, you're showing the world you're the kind of man women like me have fought against our entire lives. Kimmel's voice returned, weak, stammering. Now, let's calm down. This is my show, and I think you're overreacting to a normal interview conversation. Overreacting? Was gasoline on a fire? Jennifer's head snapped toward him, her eyes blazing. Overreacting, she said, each syllable a curse. Jimmy, you've spent 15 minutes trying to tear me down, questioning my talent, age, relevance. You think calling a woman desperate and washed up is normal conversation? Kimmel shifted, finally grasping he'd crossed an uncrossable line. I never said washed up. I was asking what the audience might wonder. It's what hosts do. No, Jimmy, Jennifer said, her voice commanding the studio. Hosts treat guests with respect, create a space for sharing stories, promoting work. You ambush women, humiliate them for entertainment. She stepped closer to his desk, Kimmel pushing his chair back slightly, as if afraid she'd reach across. You want to know what's desperate, Jimmy? She said, her voice powerful. A middle-aged man getting kicks from making successful women feel small. Hiding behind your desk, your writers, your fake laughter while tearing down people who've accomplished more than you ever will. The audience hung on every word, some recording, others staring in awe as a superstar dismantled a host on his own show. Kimmel tried one last time to regain control. Look, we're getting carried away. Why don't we take a breath, talk about your projects? The audience would love to hear about them. Jennifer's laugh was humorless. Now you want to talk about my projects? After questioning my relevance, you think you can flip a switch and pretend the last 15 minutes didn't happen? I'm trying to give us a way out, Kimmel said, desperation in his voice. We can salvage this if we move on. A way out? Jennifer's voice hit a crescendo. Jimmy, there's no way out. You chose to disrespect me, called me desperate, suggested I retire like some relic. She paused, addressing the cameras, crew, and audience. Here's what you didn't count on. Jimmy, you didn't count on me standing up, showing everyone what happens when you try to tear down a woman who's spent her career refusing to be torn down. Kimmel opened his mouth, but Jennifer raised her hand, silencing him mid-breath. I'm not finished, she said, her voice a sword. Men like you think you can say anything to women, and we'll smile, take it, grateful to be on your show. You think you can question our talent, age, relevance, and we'll nod like good guests. She shook her head, pity in her eyes. But women like me didn't get here by being good guests. We fought for every opportunity, proved ourselves, never let anyone make us feel we don't belong. Her heels clicked as she stepped toward Kimmel's desk, her voice menacingly quiet. So, here's what's happening. I'm walking off, and everyone will see what kind of man you are. Behind the jokes, smiles, fake charm, you're a bully who tries to make powerful women feel powerless. Kimmel's final attempt was pathetic. Jennifer, please, let's finish. We can edit out anything you don't like. This doesn't have to air this way. The suggestion fueled her fury. Edit it out, she said incredulously. You think I'm ashamed of standing up? This is what I want people to see. What happens when you disrespect Jennifer Lopez? I don't back down from bullies, even ones with TV shows. She turned to the audience. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what it looks like when a man tries to diminish a woman and fails, when someone underestimates who they're dealing with. Facing Kimmel, her final words were calm, cold, devastating. Jimmy, since you love honesty, let me be honest, you're a pathetic host, an even worse man. If you think I'll sit here another second listening to your garbage, you're out of your mind. She paused, then delivered the line that would echo worldwide. So, you know what, Jimmy? Screw you. The words hit like a gunshot. For a moment, no one moved, breathed, or spoke. Then Jennifer Lopez turned, walking toward the exit with the grace and dignity of a superstar. Her heels clicked in a steady rhythm, past the stunned audience, shocked crew, rolling cameras capturing every second of her triumphant exit. She didn't look back, didn't hesitate, didn't give Kimmel or the studio another moment of her time. As the doors closed behind her, leaving Kimmel alone at his desk, one thing was clear: Jennifer Lopez had delivered the most devastating takedown in talk show history, and Jimmy Kimmel would never recover. What do you think? Was Jennifer Lopez right to walk off, or did Kimmel have a point about tough questions? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit subscribe for more explosive celebrity stories, and let me know what Hollywood confrontations you want next. This industry's full of moments like these, and I'm just getting started.